super nervous. I don't
You're
know
right.
why. No, I'm not good in front of cameras. I'm good in front of people. It's
I
different.
know. It's kind of weird because like we were saying, like I'm also really shy, and normally like when I'm behind the bar, I'm like super outgoing and everything. But
Yeah.
once I get in front of like other people, like I'm the type of person that goes to a party when I don't know anybody, and I just sit in a corner and just look at people like.
Really?
Yes.
See, no, I'm the type of person that goes to a party and like meets everybody, and then I end up going home with like 40 friends, and I'm like, what the heck just happened?
I'm just kind of like super shy. Like I need somebody to start like bringing me on.
No, I mean, like, yeah, I get that. But it's each their own, I guess.
So, Chelly, welcome to the Life Behind the Bar podcast.
I'm excited to be here. I'm super nervous, but excited to be here.
I feel like I am too. I'm usually like super like this is probably like the 4th or 5th episode like recording that I've done, and I'm still kind of like trying to break out of the shyness,
your shell.
Yeah, like I'm trying to like build my own imaginary bar around me.
I feel like you've never been really shy though. Like as soon as I met you and we worked together, like you were kind of just like open and like yourself out there and did your thing. But at the same time, I get it. We were in a work environment and it was different. It's like when I'm in a work environment, I know where I'm at. I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna be out there. Plus, I mean, I was a manager, so like I had to be like a little
like the phase.
No,
like, you never went mean to me.
I was never mean
whatsoever. Like
I was never mean to anybody. I just hated being mean because there's so many other mean managers. I hate
like
to
you
say
gotta
that,
be the bad guy.
No, I hate being the bad guy, and that's literally why I left management. I'm like, I'm just gonna go back to bartending.
Isn't it the best decision you ever made?
It is hands down.
It's like, dude, I make more money. I don't have to do what I have the bullshit.
Oh, no stress. Stress, hands down. It's so nice. But literally, yeah, leaving management was honestly the best decision I ever made. And my mom's like, you're 34 years old. You should probably like do something better. And I'm like, I've been in hospitality for 20 years. I'm like, what else would you like me to do?
Well, that's one of the things is like a lot of people don't see this as a career, but I feel like the reason why they don't see our job as a career is because there's not like opportunity for like retirement. Like we don't think it's not like we don't make enough money to be able to do that. It's with like we just are not good at managing our money. I think that like this is the bartender problem. Yes.
Let's be honest. We spend it as fast as we make it. That is the problem. But I mean, I'm pretty good with money, but it boils down to people just think less of people in the service industry. Yeah. And honestly, and that's downgraded because what would you do without people in hospitality? Hands down. Like, what are you just eat at McDonald's every day?
Yeah, and like, get your order wrong every single time.
And think about all the younger people that don't know how to cook and then go out to restaurants and then complain about it.
Dude, I'm like, especially the new generation, these kids do not know how to survive. They don't know how to boil the water.
If a hurricane came around and they had to like live off of just survival, oh my god, that would be raw ramen.
Where's that? How do you hunt ramen? Or where do you grow it?
Yeah, where does that come from? I feel like it honestly would be like that. It's so sad to see I hate to say this, but my little brother is one of them, and he literally would not survive if my parents didn't pretty much take care of him. I know that sounds horrible, but he just wouldn't. I'm like, he doesn't know how to cook anything. Like, you can't boil noodles.
Dude, like, you don't even like feel bad because you're younger brother, but like, I have cousins that are older than me and they cannot survive on their own.
But I mean, you grew up in like a rare part of the world. Like, it's different.
But even then, but that's the thing. They're from there. Like, same thing. We grew up in the same bay. But and like, I remember being 8 years old and like making my own breakfast to go to school, like cooking eggs. Not like just putting an egg or something. Like, I was making like fried eggs with like toast and like all sort of stuff.
Just over being a master chef.
Yeah, like at 8,
running the world.
I was raised by a single mom, so it was kind of like one of those things where like my cousins was like, I remember like when we're in our 20s, they're like, how do you make pasta? I'm like, dude, just like literally.
How do you make pasta?
Yeah, like.
It literally has the instructions on the side of the package.
Like, even if you are really, really bad, you can just like buy like the Prego sauce. You just kind of like put the thing, boil it, and then just dump the Prego after you like take the water out, and then you're good. That's all you have to do.
It cooks itself.
Yes.
At this point.
It's like, it doesn't, they weren't able to do
No,
that,
I get that entirely, but that's crazy. That's crazy.
But it is funny that, like, you know, like you said, like, people don't really appreciate the people in the industry, and like they don't understand. And I get, like, they probably got a little bit of a taste once the pandemic hit, because they did get a taste of, like, oh, there's no restaurants. Like, what do we do? And like, oh, there's no people to work in the restaurants, so the restaurants cannot open.
Yeah.
And there was a shortage of people in the industry, and there was a lot of people that didn't want to go back to work in the industry. Or
well, there still is a shortage in the industry.
Yeah.
People don't want to work because they realize they can live off the government. I hate to say that, and I'm not going to get into that conversation, but people realize they can just not work and get money.
Well, that was the problem. Like, we had a huge problem. Like, in one of the places where I was working at the time, was we couldn't get people would get hired and then quit the same day so that they could get the unemployment, the extra unemployment that they were getting, the government was giving. And I was like, well, we ended up having to close days. Like, we were open like only like 4 days a week.
Look, I was pissed. Honestly, I didn't get my unemployment until I went back to work. So literally, I went through all my savings for 2 months, and like then I got all the money from unemployment, and I'm like,
I never even got it.
How does it? No.
Because at the time I wasn't a citizen yet. I had my green card, so I wasn't allowed to. I mean, I could have applied, but it would have messed up with my application for citizenship. So I was like, I'm not even gonna risk it.
Don't mess with it.
Oh God, no. Now I'm a citizen. I can do whatever I want.
I'm American. Fuck everybody.
Yeah.
But it's so true. Yeah. Like Americans are like that. We're like, no, fuck that.
Because we are better.
We're bad. We're not better than everybody else, but one of my favorite comedians, and he says this all the time, and I know this sounds horrible. He goes, "We're back-to-back World War champs." Yeah. Just so you guys know.
Yeah. How many people has anybody else put on the moon?
Bad. So bad. But I mean, it's funny, but it's so bad.
It is such a good. There's a meme about that, and it's
honestly,
hilarious.
You know what though? America, literally, like, we just do what we want. It is what it is, and everybody just does what they want and goes about their business, and nobody cares. And that's just how it is here. I mean, like, there's so many other countries that are so strict on rules, and this and this and this and this. You have to buy this, and this is your God, and this is who you have to worship and whatnot. And like, we're just like, nah.
Nah.
Just do what you want, and we'll figure it out later.
Go.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy. Bad. But I love it here, man. Like, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, this place is amazing.
You have a beautiful daughter too. She's so sweet.
Cute. She's a sweetheart. Sometimes she drives me crazy.
She's your kid.
Oh my God, dude. I am glad that she's not even half as terrible as I was when I was a kid. Oh, when I was a kid, I was such an asshole.
Were you?
Oh my God, I was such an asshole kid. Like, I was good.
You're such a nice guy. I just can't.
Well, that's why I got it out. I got it out of my system when I was a kid. I was a dick. And then I grew up. I was like, I guess I don't need to be an asshole anymore.
I'm not gonna lie, I was an asshole kid.
So you should all thank my cousins for me being nice, because they definitely took the burden of me being an asshole when I was growing up with them.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah,
like, you're just like, nah, it's your fault. I did not steal all those Oreos.
Dude. I used to be a thing.
It's a thing.
Chelly, where are you from?
I was born in Key West.
Key West,
and then lived in Marathon, which is one of the islands in the Keys. And then my mom decided it was a smart idea to move us to Orlando.
Was that a smart idea?
No, she will tell you no. All my older cousins, because I have 23 cousins on my mom's side, were getting in trouble. So she thought if she moved us to the woods, we would not get in trouble. Well, she took away boats and all of the activity that we were used to, and moved us to the woods. So yeah, we obviously got in more trouble.
Nice.
And then about 16 years ago, I moved out here to live on a boat with my boyfriend at the time, and loved it out here. So when we broke up, I just stayed. And then now my mom, my brother, and my sister live out here. And
so you've been in the Space Coast for how long?
16 years.
16 years? My God. So you moved out on a boat.
Yeah.
How's that? So like, were you like traveling, or were you guys like in the area, but like living in a boat?
I was 19. So mind you, like, I was working at a nightclub in Orlando with my boyfriend. He was working there too. And I thought it was a good idea all right, let's buy a boat and move out here and then go travel the world. Well, turns out he didn't know anything about boats. Mind you, I was raised on them, and so it was a mess.
So Captain Chelly.
Oh no, Lord, no. I know better than to get my captain's license because then you have to be responsible for everybody on the boat.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be responsible for anybody on a boat because
because a lot of dumbass people that shouldn't be on a boat sometimes.
Yeah, they're doing stupid stuff. So anyways, we broke up and I just stayed out here. And then, like I said, my family moved out here and we're all here now.
Nice.
And now I got 2 little nieces that live out
here. So now you're stuck here forever. No traveling around the world on a boat.
No, I'll still travel, but I'll never leave. Like, to me, this is home. This is the longest I've ever lived anywhere in my entire life. That's why I was moving around. Yeah. So
nice. Keys must be. I've never been to the Keys, but like I bet that like if you like live there or something, like you'll be a killer bartender in the Keys.
So I've gotten so many job opportunities to go back, but I never lived in Key West. I lived in Marathon, which is like one of the middle islands. But because I've had so many friends open bars down there, they've offered me jobs down there, and I'm like, I don't want to live on a rock. I just don't.
Is it too small?
Well, everybody knows everybody.
Oh, that's right.
Like it's so
it's
small.
like the little town, giant hill kind of thing.
It's so small. Like every time I go down there and visit, and I literally just randomly go down there and visit, and I run into people like I know, and I'm like, and it's usually with guys that I'm dating that are new, and they're like, "Can we not take you anywhere?" I'm like, "Oh, thank you. This is embarrassing."
It's all right. So how did you start working at nightclubs, or when did you start working in the industry?
All right. So my first job, I was a hostess at this place called Rusty Fox. It was in Claremont, which is where I went to high school. And it was a hole in the wall. I started there, and then I got a job expoing at Gators Dockside. Well, food running, but they quickly moved me up to expo.
How old were you?
I was 15.
Oh God! So you've been doing this for a while.
Well, yeah, hospitality 20 years at this, or 21 years now at this point. But they moved me up to expo, and then we were opening a new Gators Dockside in Claremont, and I was working at the one in Winter Garden, and they had like a fight over me. Like, not like a fight, but they were like, we want to keep Chelly. We want to keep her over here. And then the other Gators was like, no, we hired her here to do this.
Boys,
and it was funny. They went back and forth, and I was like, who's going to pay me more?
So you get guys fighting over you, and now you get restaurants fighting over you. This is crazy.
These were bosses.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and mind you, I was only 16 years old. Anyways, yeah, they were fighting, like, who's gonna keep me? Where am I gonna go? And anyways, I eventually chose, but it was just funny. Like, I just remember listening to them, and these are like guys in their 40s. Like, they're like, nah, she'd be better here. And I'm like, who's gonna give me more money? That's all I fucking care about. And finally, one of them were like, we'll make you a server, and then we'll promote you to bartender. And I was like, done. Done. No, I'm fucking 16.
That's crazy.
So as soon as I turned 18,
they throw you behind the bar.
I got lucky, yeah. But then I ended up leaving.
All of that. Like, it's like, I'm gonna make you guys fight over me, and
I didn't make them do anything. That was them. Literally, I was just chilling. I was like, look, I'm just making money either way. Like,
yeah. Hey, you gotta take advantage of the situation.
I never thought about being in hospitality this long or being a boss for that.
Well, that's the thing, is like, when you start in this industry, a lot of times you just do it because either you're like 16. It's pretty much one of the only jobs that you can get that is not retail, and you make a little actually way better money than retail. But there's also, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to college. This is gonna get me through college, and then I'll be done. Yeah, right.
No, I went to college and I hated it. I hated high school though too, but I graduated a year early. Like, I graduated when I was 16 years old.
Nerd. I can't say anything because that's what did I.
I just didn't like school. I didn't like I just didn't like it. And anyways, I got really lucky and then went to college at 17, hated that, and I was like, I'm just gonna go bartend.
Hey, it's worked out for you though.
It's definitely been an interesting journey.
It is.
That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
For as long as I've done it, in as many places as I've worked and done it.
Well, you've gotten to meet a lot of people though that you can like this has given you the opportunity to know other people. Like if you ever wanted to be a realtor, I swear to God, in this area, you will murder it.
So
absolutely.
So I've literally gone for my real estate license twice, and then I've let it lapse both times. Honestly, just out of being pure, like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to work on weekends. I'm super spoiled. Like, I don't work on weekends. Like, if you think about it, the last 10 years, I haven't worked on weekends. Except for here.
Well, yeah, because you started doing this again, but you were managing, so you worked yourself to a point where you were like, I got weekends off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on my boats.
Yeah.
I'm out.
It's so bad, but like I also like I have 2 new nieces, and like I want to spend time with my family. Like, hands down, family time is more important to me than anything. And so I don't want to lose out on that, but everywhere that wants to hire me, and like I get so many job offers as like a manager, a bartender, or whatever, and they're like, but we want you on like Saturday, Sundays, and I'm like, no. I'm not doing it. I'm like, because I missed out on family time in my entire 20s, and I'm not missing out on it. Like, I personally don't want to have children, so my nieces and nephews are the world to me, and I want to watch them grow up, and I want to be there with them. I'm definitely
for the fun times, and then when they get like one, you're like, "Up, here you go."
Listen, that is so true.
Smart.
I legit taught my little niece to cheers. She goes, "Cheers, Aunt Show," and then she chugs her bottle, and then she goes. I'm like, my brother's like, "Could you not?" I'm like, "Don't let me babysit your kids then." I'm like. He's like,
what are you gonna
trust you with them. Like, I'm not gonna, like, I don't drink when I hang out with them. Mind you, it's water I'm cheersing them with. But it's so funny. My little niece, we drink out of like champagne glasses, but like the ceramic ones that have the lids on them, so we can go in like the pool and stuff.
Yeah.
So my little niece kept grabbing mine and her grandma's, my mom, and I was like, we need to get her a little one. So we can just fill it with water, and she can have her own. So she understands this is hers.
Yeah.
So, but then she's always coming to me, "Cheers, Aunt Shell." I'm like, mom.
It's kind of funny how kids are, man. Like, they pick up anything you want to teach them. Like, you just teach them anything, just like little sponges, man. Like, I'm a dad, and like my kid, man. Like, I have to.
She's gorgeous.
Oh, she's weird. She's good. She's just sitting there right now. But this morning she was a little grumpers because I woke her up. She was. But they're like little sponges, man, and and that's the thing. Like, when you saying like you want to spend time with your family and everything, that's one of those things that we miss out a lot on this industry, is because our schedule is so opposite to everybody else.
Everyone else.
So it's like, oh, let me go ahead and like hang out with my family this weekend, or you got like, it gives you flexibility.
Oh, that's okay.
There you go.
Next question, sir.
We're back.
I'm kind of ready.
So, Chelly, you started working as a hostess. You moved on into bartending, and then that was in Orlando, in Claremont, Orlando area.
No. I started as a hostess. I was a food runner, then an expo, and then I started working as a server, and got promoted to lead server, like super, super young. My hardest job ever in my entire life. I worked at Denny's, and I was 16. And I had a 14 table section, and they would seat, and mind you, I did this overnight because I lived on my own when I was 16. Yeah. So I was working nights at Denny's and then going to school during the day to graduate, which I graduated a year early from high school. Anyways. But yeah, that was the hardest job I've ever had in my entire life. And that like made it to where I was like, oh, I can handle a lot. Like, they would seat your whole section at one time. And you're just like, what the heck? Like, how do people even handle this? And I mean, like, you'd have like 4 8-tops, and then like,
and you're working at night.
At night.
At Denny's.
Yeah.
So you're getting a bunch of drunk assholes.
Oh my gosh, it was so rough. Like, hands down, it was the hardest job I've ever had.
That makes a lot of sense because you're so good at dealing with drunk people. And of all the people that I've worked with, that you're like one of the best people I've seen deal with drunk people. Not everything just come together by like, oh, she was dealing at 16. She was already dealing with like trash people at fucking
I'm
Denny's.
like, Jesus. And mind you, I knew all these people, a lot of them too. So I'd be like, could you just sit down, Josh? Just sit down. Your hash browns will be out in a minute. I learned so much patience from that job because it was so rough. Roughest job I've ever had in my entire life. Oh my gosh.
Dude.
And then after that, I worked at a sports bar, and I was a waitress. And I remember these guys came in, and they were like, just like scoping out the place, right? And I was like, oh, these guys might be investors, or they're trying to open a new bar. I don't know. But anyways, I literally like gave them drinks, and they're like, oh, we're good. Well, I went back and like was like, are you guys okay? Which is normal to me. But they literally offered me a job at a nightclub because they were like, most people don't do that. Do cocktail waitress. I was 18, and they offered me a job at a nightclub. Well, anyways, they liked me so much. They ended up like teaching me how to bartend. And I mean, I was young. I was the only person under 21 they hired.
Nice.
And I just got lucky. And then I decided to move out here. That's how that happened.
Nice. So now you are working at Rec 225.
Yes, and I love it. I have the best bosses in the entire world.
Yeah.
Best coworkers.
You're fine.
Super glad I left management.
That's what I was going to ask you, because like when I met you, you were actually managing another spot, and we started working together over there. I started working for you, and my schedule was all over the place there because I literally had to work with a different bartender every day of the week. I was working like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, it was so
every
hard.
day I was working with a different person. And then I remember I used to work with you once a week, and it was like the best shift ever. And I was kind of like, oh, it's really fun because there was another girl that I used to work with as well there that I didn't really get along as well, but everybody else was cool. But there you were more like you were a manager. So it was like a different dynamic. And I always said like, I had already been a manager before at a spot, and that's something I will never do again. Like, you will have to offer me stupid money and like have the weekends off. So I was like, sorry. That's a bit like anytime anybody says the same thing, I was like, I was like, listen, you want me to be a manager? I don't work Saturday or Sundays. I only work 40 hours a week, and you got to pay me this much.
I didn't even work 40 hours a week. I was the most spoiled manager on the planet. Like, honestly, like my boss even said it, or our old boss even said it. But I tried to be like the nice manager. It was a lot. Like, I was constantly like, it was a lot. And I'm just glad that I left.
Yeah.
I'm not upset about all the people I got to work with or meet there, because hands down, I love the employees. Like 1 billion%. It was one of the best places. I mean, I was there 7 years, you know, but sometimes you just gotta move on. So like, it's so funny here because Jamie, my my GM, will be like, Chelly, can you do money this weekend? I'm like, then I was just messing with him. I'm like, yes, I'll do money this weekend.
Do you want me to go get the manager for you?
I said that to everybody. I'm like, let me go get my boss real fast because they're here running around somewhere.
Like, there's people that like really crave that position.
Authority position.
Yeah. And like, to me, it was never attractive. And when I actually ended up having to do it was because I was covering, and then I ended up like, oh, this is what I do now, apparently. But it was a thing where like, I just don't like having to tell people what to do. Like, I like to just come in, make my drinks, talk to people, just have fun. But there's people that crave that. And I just never, and with you, it's like, seemed like you are having a lot. Like, I saw you the other day working over here, and you seemed so much more relaxed and less stressed out. Like, you were actually 100%. Enjoying your evening, like having fun. Whilst on the other place, like, you were always fun to work with, but you were stressed out because you have all the pressure dealing with everything.
Well, I'd get like 5 million calls from him every day. And I'm like, you don't even know how to do this stuff. Like, why are you calling me? And or he'd call me on like my days off. And I'm like, I don't work today. I'm like, what do what do you want me to do? You
Yes.
want me to come in there? Like, I'm not even in town. It was difficult, to say the least. I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about the company, but honestly, I'm just glad I'm not personally there anymore. And
I get it.
I'm not the only person that's not that left when I left. But it's nice to just be back to bartending and just hanging out with people and having fun and talking shit and just like shooting the shit. Like, it's funny, like our GM will call me sometimes and I'll be like sitting on the cooler, but I'm talking to like all these people I have here. And he's like, "What you doing?" And I was like, "Talking to my people, making money." And he's like, "All right, cool." He's like, "Will you go check this for me?" Like, it's so polite and so nice. Like, he's just such a good.
Oh, Jamie.
Jamie's amazing.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart, man.
He's such a good. We met actually like 10 years ago, working concerts together through my ex-boyfriend. Him and they're best friends. And then Jamie and I stayed good friends. And like, he went out of his way when I left my old job to make a spot for me here, which I have so much respect for. And like, will always have his back, hands down. Like, he's just an amazing boss.
I got to work with him for a very short period of time when I was like in between jobs. And he was actually pretty cool, man. Like, he was awesome. And like,
he really is.
Yeah. We gotta get him in the podcast sometime.
Oh, for sure. No, he would love it, honestly. And he's such a good personality. Yeah. He would be amazing in it. Like, when I told him, when you asked me about this, he was like, "Absolutely." Hands down. And I'm like, "Jamie, you know how I am in front of cameras. Like, I'm gonna get nervous." Then he's like, "Just do some shots. You'll be fine."
I'll allow it.
I'm like, okay, great. Thank you. But yeah, he's just such an amazing, the way he goes about things too. So when I was a manager, like, I don't know if you saw, but I tried to like not yell at you guys, but like speak to you guys because you're adults and you're human.
And I think that's something that, well, luckily we're starting to see a little bit more in the industry as like a younger generation is starting to like step into the management positions a little bit. And I guess they come with a little bit more like empathy approach, which you had. Like, that was one of the things with you that I would work with you any day. Like, if you ever told me like, "Hey, I need somebody," I'm like, "Come work." Because you always had that. Like, you were not like that power tripping asshole that's just trying to like put people down, but rather we're like, "Hey, so let's try to like look at this and how can we this way?" And like,
you guys hide your cell phones from the cameras a little bit, that'd be great. I'm like, let's say all the time, go in the bathroom and get on your cell phone.
But then you have the contrast of this other dude that, you know, that will just walk in and it's just like, it's stress. Like, you have these managers that will walk into a place and automatically stress everybody out.
Yeah, hands down.
Because it's just, you're like, you know that they're going to be unreasonable. You know that if they have a complaint, they're just going to be just lash out entirely.
Not helpful, but hurtful.
Yeah.
Is what I used to say about that previous owner. Like, literally, he would walk in and the entire vibe would change. Everybody would just like immediately be on like alert and not fun, like scared. Yeah. And then just start nitpicking stuff. And I'm like, if you, like, I remember saying to him so many times, like, if you would like to do this, go do it. I don't know how to do it. Oh, so you need me to do this, but you're going to nitpick me.
So that's one of those other things that like a lot of places don't have that anymore. Like, I've worked in a lot of places. That's not the only place where I've seen that vibe where like you come in and I was like, "Oh, watch out, this guy's here."
All of a sudden.
And everybody's like on
tense.
Yes.
Just like the vibe just dies, which sucks because in a restaurant, you want everybody to be uplifted and happy. Yeah. Like, I would come in always and I would say hi to everybody and I'm like, "Hey, what's up? Let's have a good Friday. Let's have a good fucking Friday, guys." Like, you know, it is what it is. It's going to be a rough day, but we all got it together. And then when the kitchen was down, I'd bring them Red Bulls and I'm like, "Hey guys, it's going to be okay. I got you. I'll buy you drinks at the end of the night." You know, like, let's just get it together and keep it together. It is what it is.
That's awesome.
But I mean, that's how I feel like people should be in hospitality.
Like, we should be a little bit more friendly. Like, there's always drama in this industry and there's always going to be, but I feel like if we took a more empathetic approach to, especially with our coworkers, especially with the people that we work for and that work for us, that things will go so much more smooth because then you don't have, because eventually you start reflecting that negativity towards the customers and it's a chain.
Well, and people don't realize too how much customers watch what goes on.
Oh yeah.
Like, they have no, especially, and and I hate to say this, but servers don't realize, like bartenders, we know we're on show. So constantly what we say behind the bar and everything that goes on, we know people can hear it. We know how to say it if we need to say it quietly.
Yeah.
But servers don't realize how much customers watch them.
No, because they go and hide in the kitchen and they talk shit in the kitchen and they like get it on the kitchen. We don't get that. We're like on the front, always like.
You're basically on a reality show for a good 8 hours and like pay attention. I mean, you know how to say stuff to people. Like we whisper in each other's ears, but at the same time, like if you say something out loud, people hear that.
Like if you really need to say something to somebody or you really need to hash it out, just go into walking like a normal human being and just yell at each other, man. Like that's what they want. Listen, they made the walking for 2 reasons, so you can go and fucking cry,
and to keep
and then you can just like, and also we work in Florida. It gets really fucking hot, especially if you have ever worked in a fucking outside bar. You walk in and take a nice little cool down.
I've worked in outside bars. People don't think that because I worked so long at timeout and I always worked inside, but it was because I was always the closing manager. But before that, like I've worked in outside bars. I've sweated.
Listen, that feeling after you've been outside for hours and you're like, oh shit, I ran out of this that I have to go get from the walk-in. It's like a blessing when you walk in and you get all that cool air from the fridge. You're like, yes, it's so good.
I literally remember walking outside and like helping the outside bar y'all close down the outside bar and just then walking in the walk-in and I'm like, oh my god, it's so nice. They're like, you've been out here for 10 minutes, Chelly. I'm like,
I don't want to hear it. This shit is hot. They're
like, shut up, Chelly. I'm like, listen. I'm like, you be the closing manager for the night. I will gladly walk around like,
right,
and go play on my cell phone. No, I'm fine with that.
It's crazy because like it's one of those things like we have all these little like stories and like funny things that we have within the industry. Like the walk-in is a multi-purpose. It's like it's for the cook to hook up with the server, or for you to go cry when you're having a mental breakdown,
or vaping,
or vaping, aka you know what else goes on the walk-in.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say which bar I worked at. And it was in my 20s, so I can't get in trouble for this. But I literally napped in a liquor closet one time.
Dude.
It was a day shift, and I took like a 2-hour nap. And literally, the other bartender finally came and found me because I was like, I need to go get Jameson, but it was upstairs and down the hall.
Yes.
And like literally, he came and found me. He's like, really, Shell? I was like, yeah.
I used to work in this place in Colombia, and it was a late night bar, and I used to live like a 10-minute walk. Like I used to go to school like about 10 minutes away from the bar where I used to work.
Yeah.
But my house was an hour bus ride to the bar. So when I had early class in the morning, like I will get caught early and I will go in the walk-in closet and like in the walk-in liquor bar, and I will just go and like put like three seats together and just go to sleep there. And then wake up and then just kind of like stay at the fucking bar and then like leave in the morning to go to class.
Listen, I'm not kidding. They make these shelves look like bunk beds and there's towels in there.
What am I supposed to do?
I'm just saying, like, they actually set it up for you. They're slow pitching this and I'm just like, okay.
Like, what am I supposed to do? You put a plate of food there, I'm going to eat it.
For real. Yeah, I mean, I was, it's so funny because I was such a little asshole bartender when I was younger. And it was when I became a manager, I remember the girls, I'm like, don't lie to me because everything you've ever done or tried, I've done way worse. Like hands down.
Like so, I invented the trick.
Yeah, oh, gosh, it's so bad. But so like they would lie to me. I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, try again. I'll give you one more chance. Like, and the girls would finally be like, all right, I did this. And I'm like, see, you were honest. I was like, now I don't have to suspend you because we can make up like something.
Yeah.
So
listen, tell me the truth so I can cover your ass. Because if you don't tell me the truth, I'm not going to vouch for you.
But when you lie to me, I can't have your back. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, gosh. It's so many stories at that bar. I'm like, I never want to be manager again.
Me neither. I learned my lesson a couple of times. I didn't learn the first time. I learned the second time. And then I was over, and I like the last time that I was over, I was like, you have to, like, I requested like a ridiculous amount of money because I knew nobody's going to pay me that. And I was like, so I don't say no. It's like, listen, this is how much it'll be. And otherwise I can't do it.
My problem is that I have been offered a couple jobs where they're offering me like a good amount of money, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the stress. I would rather just bartend.
No, dude.
Like, it's not even that, like, don't mind me. Like, I helped a lot of people out when I was bartending and like got them to better places and stuff, or managing. But at the same time, it's just the amount of stress you have to deal with constantly from like everyone's problems, where everyone has their own problems to deal with, but you're taking on that caseload as well.
Yeah.
And it's too much. Like,
it's not worth it for your mental health, and like we already struggle with that in this industry, like between like substance abuse, like just having to cope like with a couple drinks or after just to deal with the stress, like we become more prone to these type of things, and like our sleep schedule is just fucked.
What sleep schedule?
Yeah,
we don't have a schedule.
Like, no, it's sleep.
We sleep whenever we can.
That's it. And that's another of the problems is like a lot of people don't really take into consideration that when they come to a bar, maybe if you're a little bit nicer to your bartenders, not because like we're entitled, it's because we're sleep deprived. We have to deal with like 100 assholes like you, and then on top of that, like we don't have social life. Like,
you don't know where we're going home to too. You never know.
So like we try to be nice to everybody, and people try to not like. And
I try to be polite. That's my thing is I try to be polite because I work. Well, no, because I've worked with so many asshole managers, and I don't want to be like them. So I always try to be polite. I mean, sometimes you have to be stern.
It goes a long way,
but it works out better in the end being polite than it does being an asshole.
There's a comparison that I like to make a lot, and it's like as a dad, like I grew up with like a strict dad, and it was kind of like way different. You can be strict and you can be kind of like stern, but you don't have to be
rude, dick about it.
Like I do with my kid, I have a strict set of rules and everything, and she usually responds. But like if she's having an issue, like instead of like coming out screaming, you just talk to her like, all right, tell me why you're feeling the way you feel.
Let's talk about this.
And then
instead,
they're like, oh, they respond a lot better, and I respond a lot better to that as well. And like I would usually apply that to like. But there's a lot of people that think that, all right, I'm the manager and you should just fucking do as I say in period and like just scream and like nobody needs to put up with your shit.
Honestly, and some people just get that head high where they're like, I'm this now. And I literally had this conversation with my friend Will, who's been a manager at a couple different restaurants. And he's like, I never walk in like that. Like when I came here, when I left, my old job, I literally came in, I was like, I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. I'm nobody's manager. I'm just a bartender, because everyone's used to me being a manager. And I was like, no. Like I ask questions. I'm like, hey, can we do this? Like I asked the other bartenders, are we allowed to do this here? And because things constantly change, nothing's consistent in the restaurant industry. But I'm always like, hey, that's my boss. That's my boss. And like D is a cook. And I'm like, that's my boss. Let me go ask my boss if I can do this real fast. People are like, what? I'm like, yeah, no, everyone's my boss here.
I'm the new girl.
No, exactly.
I was everybody's boss at some point, but here
I'm nobody.
I'm the new girl.
And I don't even want to be anybody. No. I want no responsibility. Like when they gave me a key, I was like, ooh.
Take it away.
I just gave keys back.
I don't want this. Like I know how this ends. I get like this key and the next thing I know I'm doing, next thing you know, you're doing drawers.
No. Yes.
And next thing you know, you're doing schedules.
Stop it. I will beat somebody. There's not that many people here to beat. And it's all dudes. I'm the only full-time female employee here. It's all dudes other than that. And then we have 2 part-time girls that work one works 1 day a month and the other one works 2 days a month. So it's just me and a bunch of dudes. No, literally. I'm like, I don't want any responsibility, guys. And I tell them, I'm like, you're bigger than me. Go be an adult.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Chelly. So I want to ask you a little bit about the boat situation, like, because clearly you like boats because you grew up in the Keys and all this stuff, but like you at some point thought about like traveling the world in a. Is it like a sailboat?
It was a sailboat.
Is that something that you like still like to do? Like now that you're like older, you're like wiser, and you're like
older and wiser.
But like now you're like, you know what? Fuck it. One day I'm just gonna grab my buy like an old sailboat, like fix it up enough so that I can just go up and down the coast for like a year. Like, is that something that is?
So I'm about to be 35.
Don't look. What?
Thank you. That. No, so I'm about to be 35. My nieces have just been born. One's 2 and one's literally like 6 weeks old. And that's the most important thing to me right now, like family. So staying right here is the most important thing. If I met a guy that wanted to travel on a boat, hands down, I'd do it. Like, yeah, I can teach you how to sail.
Hear it now.
I know how to tack.
Go get a boat. Doesn't matter if you don't know what you're doing. She has it. She has it. Just get the boat.
No, I was raised on boats. My family was fishermen.
Great.
So, so I was raised on boats. The boats to me are like actually like a comfy home. People are like, you can't sleep on them. And I'm like, what? You don't know how to sleep properly. I can sleep anywhere on a boat.
That's crazy. I'm not necessarily a boat person. Like, I've been on boats before. I'm actually going on my first cruise ever. I've never been on a fucking cruise.
I've never been on a cruise.
Never. And I'm a little nervous because I'm like, I grew up in the mountains, like water, white water. Like, I was in the mountains. Yeah. But I've been on small boats, like out on the ocean a little bit and stuff. And,
I love how you say a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't that much. It was like, you could see the coast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could still see it. God, no.
Oh, so I've done a bunch of crossings. Like, crossings are when you bring someone's boat to the, like, Bahamas. And
then
they fly
ocean.
You back. Yeah, they fly you back, and they're, like, private planes and shit.
I will fly.
I've done that.
I wouldn't be on a boat that long. I'm like, no.
No, but I mean, it's money.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've done a bunch of those. I don't know.
I feel like, have you ever seen that show, Below Deck?
Yeah.
Like, I think you'll kill it just because you're such a badass. You're like a captain.
Be a waitress on a boat.
Captain on a boat.
No.
Yeah,
no.
And a yacht.
So here's the thing that scares me about captain's licenses, because I have so many friends that have them, and I have enough sea hours to get them or to get one. Honestly, if you're on a boat, even if you're not driving it, and say like you get pulled over, WC or whatever, if I have my captain's license and I'm not driving it, I can still get in trouble for not taking care of all the people on board. That's why
even though you're like not even working.
It's not my boat. It's not nothing. No, that's why I won't get my captain's license, because I have enough sea hours to get it. No, I have like 5,000
that sounds like a
sea
pain in the butt.
I'm good on that.
That makes no sense. See,
but mind you, I drive my friends' boats when they're.
It's like, don't worry, I got it. You're probably a better driver than all of them, honestly.
No, that is not true. Not.
So you like boating, you like fishing.
Absolutely.
You love fishing.
I want to catch a black marlin. That's my life goal.
People
want to get married and have kids. I want to catch a black marlin.
It's like, fuck it.
Because I've been blue marlin fishing and white marlin fishing and everything.
So what's a black marlin? Dude, mountains. I'm from the mountains, dude.
So white marlin and blue marlin are in the Atlantic, and so like their arms can be like, all right, so their mouth can be like this big, but black marlin's mouth can be like this big. So think about how big of a fish that is. You're talking about like fucking like 10 to like 14-foot fish.
How the fuck do you catch that?
It takes about like 10, 12 hours, sometimes like 24.
Jesus.
But how cool would it be to say...
And like you can eat it and it's really...
No, you don't eat marlin. Marlin's not good eating at all.
So what do you do with a fish?
It's like you don't eat sailfish. Sailfish is gross. What do you... No, you release it back because it's sport fish. It's sport fish.
So you just like catch it, do 12 hours of like gruesome work and labor, possibly breaking your back, possibly getting stabbed by a fish, and then you're like, all right, I'm done. I caught it. Take a picture and just toss it back in.
Pretty much.
Oh my God. You fish people are crazy.
We're weird. I know. Like I said, born in Key West. Like, we're fucking weirdos. But it is
a fucking Florida, man. I swear to God.
You know what? Everyone keeps moving here.
Listen, I honestly ended up here by accident. And I'm not going to show Florida. I like Florida. I love it. I could do a little bit less heat just because, again, I grew up in the mountains and like the heat kind of like gets me hard. But I do like Florida. I do enjoy being here.
I wouldn't say it's the heat here, it's the humidity.
Yeah.
Because you can deal with heat easy. Like if you go to Arizona, there's no humidity. So literally the heat's not that bad. Exactly. Yeah, but it's the humidity here that like drains.
It's rough, man.
I know. So that's something like I've dealt with my entire life. So I don't get why people don't get it.
No.
Because to me,
argue with cold weather.
I can't stand it.
Exactly.
I hate it.
I was in the mountains not long ago, and I was happy as a cucumber out there. Like it was cold, there was snow. I was living life.
If there's snow, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Like I get it. I'll deal with it cold for a little bit, but hands down, like when it gets below like 70 here, I'm like, Like in here, we keep it
because you.
Damn it. We keep it at 60 degrees in here, or 69 degrees in here, and I'm always freezing. And like I hate it, and the boys won't let me change it because I'm outvoted, like 10-1. So I'm just kind of screwed.
See, I can't. Like I keep it cold at house, and my wife's all like, "You're trying to freeze me?" I'm like, "No, I'm just trying to not have a heat stroke."
What? So she just wears sweaters and leggings everywhere.
Yeah, I'm like walking around in shorts because it's still like too hot for me, and it's like 69 degrees in the house.
Oh my gosh, that's cold. No, literally. No, I hate it cold. It's funny because my sister and I, because we look so similar, people think we're like the same person, but we're not. We're so different.
I've never met your sister. I've seen photos.
Yeah.
And I remember like when we were working together and I saw a photo of your sister, I was like, oh my God, you have a twin.
She's not my twin. She's a year and a half younger, but she just moved back into town, and people are like, who's older? Who's, because she's taller than me and a little like she's got like like an awesome like hourglass shape to her. She's a little thicker than me. I'm gorgeous, but people are like, what's the difference between you two? And I'm like, give it 5 minutes, have a conversation, and you'll see. Like literally, we are so different.
I've never gotten to meet your sister. I've never met her. I've seen, I know, and like you guys look alike a lot.
Oh, very.
Because I remember telling you, like, I thought you guys were twins, and you're like, no.
Most people do. They think we're twins.
That's crazy.
But I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, Chelly, I am glad that I actually got to meet you when we were working over at that other place. It was fun working with you, honestly. It was a lot of fun. It's like I've worked with so many people in this industry, in this area, especially because, I worked in different countries and stuff. And like one of the things about this is that out of this area, I have like my faves of the people that I have worked with. But I'm like, dude, like I will, share a bar with this person any fucking day of the week, anytime.
No, we always had fun together. Yeah. I loved working with you. It was so sweet.
We used to work like Friday nights. So it was like a busy shift. It was awesome. It was inside. Thank God. That was like my one shift inside. I loved it. I know. I was like, yeah.
Everyone's always like, Chelly always gets to work inside so she doesn't sweat. And I was like, I'm the closing manager. Yeah. Would you like to be the closing manager? I will let you close.
Yeah. But that's one of those things. Like working with you was awesome. It was always a blast. Like you were like one of the best bartenders I know. Like you don't get like, even when we were like super busy, like you had things under control. Like it was really, really good to work with you. I want to say that.
That's really sweet. Thank you.
No.
I try not to suck at my job. That's what I say every day.
You're very competitive. That's one thing that I do remember about you. Like you're like, I got this.
I mean, sometimes you just know things. I don't know how to say that exactly. Sometimes you just know you vibe with your job. Like I've just been doing it for so long and I'm just comfortable with it. And
it comes natural.
No matter how busy we get or whatever. Like here, my first day here was Halloween and we were slammed. I'd never worked on the system before. Like literally just got thrown into it. And the owners were standing at the end of the bar that I'd never met before. And they were like,
who's this girl?
I was like,
that's kind of like the hard, like
the
craziest part between like switching jobs is like the POS.
Pretty
much.
It's
a different POS. You're like, shit.
They're all kind of similar, and I like to play with them too. Like I played with this one a bunch when we first got it, and I found a bunch of tricks. And Jamie and Excel and all them that work on the weekends only were like, "Oh, that's cool." Like I didn't know that, and I was like, "Yeah, check this out too. We can do this and this and this and this." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm like, "Yeah."
See, that's one of the things that I want to do. Actually, is design a POS. Like get a bunch of the people that I have worked with and be like, all right, what's everything we hate about the POS?
For bartenders. Yeah,
because I feel like everybody, because I code and like everybody that I guarantee you, every single person that has a sign up POS has never fucking worked at a bar. Like I'm willing to put money on this. Like anybody. Honestly,
I would say like 95% of them. I think like 5%. They're like, these people have been waitresses.
Yes, like maybe they waited tables for like 6 months when like one of the semesters in college.
Something like that.
Because that's one of the things. I just want to get a bunch of bartenders together and be like, all right, let's write a list of not what we want, but like what we fucking hate, and we're gonna fix everything and just build our own system.
I could so help you with that. Like hands down. So this system's great. The one that we just got, it's new, but they did it like weird. And so I know how to like add buttons and stuff. And Jamie's like, whatever you think you need. I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. And then Marcus said the same thing. I'm like,
Jamie, talk to the manager.
I'm just a bartender.
I'm just a bartender. What do I know?
Yeah, I'm like, I did go through and like help out. Like I was like, we're missing this and this and this. But then like it got to a point where I'm just like, I just work here. I hate to say that because I love it here so much.
It's all right. But you have to be able to set those boundaries too. Because otherwise, next thing you know, you're making schedules, you're doing drawings, and you're like, shit. And then you can't come back from that. Like once you get to a point, you can't turn around. You're done.
There's no turnaround. There's no like, nah, I'm going to go dishwash for the day.
Nope.
Shelly, we don't don't have dishwashers here. I'm like, yeah, I just created this.
It's a new position as a manager. I came up with it, and now you're gonna respect it. Okay.
I'm just gonna be back in the dish pit with no dishes, just back there chilling,
checking my phone.
D's gonna be like, "What am I supposed to do?" Pretty much.
Man, so I have a couple questions. What is that drink that you have? We all have a drink that like brings our soul. Like, what is your shifty? Like that thing that you usually, all right, I'm done with today. I just got like 4-day balls to the wall, angry customers, frat kids. I made an ungodly amount of lemon drop shots today. I want to kill everybody. I need this to bring this back to my soul back into my body.
So honestly, and everybody in this county will tell you this, I drink Grand Marnier neat, and that's my go-to.
That's your...
I walk into a bar, and I only go to certain bars, like, because I like to go where my friends work, so I can give money back to them because they give money to me. But literally, I'll walk into a bar, and they already have my grandma board, and I'm like, thank you. That is my
Grand Marnier. That's your shifting
go-to. Yeah,
that's a good choice. It's not very usual that somebody drinks that, and like I have a very specific type of people that actually drink Grand Marnier or like Campari. They know what the fuck they want in their lives.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
The thing. Like if you walk into a bar,
who the fuck has Campari anymore,
dude?
I can't name one bar I know of.
We do,
yeah. Oh, you guys do?
Yeah.
For you? I'm sorry then.
But
damn, now I can name one.
But it's one of those things where like if somebody, like when I get somebody that like asks me like for a Grand Marnier neat or like an actual like a Campari, I'm like, that person has a good head on their shoulders. They know what they're doing. Either that or they have people here in their basement. But it's gotta be one or the other.
All right, so I don't have a basement.
Yeah, we live in Florida.
Yeah.
So we're good.
So we just nailed the non-basement thing.
Yes.
Just for everybody out there.
I would like to have a basement. Because I feel like
it'd be cold and dreary and stuff.
Because it's cold. It's the coldest house.
Oh, you like cold stuff.
I like cold. So
see, I wouldn't like it. I'm like, no, I'd rather have like a rooftop deck. Florida versus non-Florida.
I don't know, because I actually would like to do that. I'm like, wait a minute. I like both. Can I just get like a basement with a
12-story house, please? If you had all the rooms.
And like an elevator straight to the rooftop fucking deck. God, I need to make a lot of money. I'm gonna start picking up shifts this week.
We all do.
Dude,
we all
Chelly,
do.
So I'm really happy that you actually decided to join me on this. I know that you get a little bit shy with the cameras and whatnot, and that was awesome of you. And I've had a really good time today. Towards the end of the show, I actually like to do something. It's called the regular of the week, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't because of our regulars or the customers, and as much as like sometimes they drive us crazy, they are the ones that like put money in our bank. They're the ones that like, tip us. They're the ones that take care of us. And a lot of times they actually become kind of our family. Like we end up hanging out with our regulars. We ended up dating our regulars. It's all, you all know. Anybody that's been in the industry knows the drill. So I want to see if you want to give this to one of your regulars. Could be from now, could be from the past, could be somebody that's with us, that is not longer with us. Anybody you want to talk like that maybe actually made an impact on your life?
I'm going to give a big shout out to my best friend, Keith Hurley. He became my regular when I was going through a tough time in my life, and he was going through a divorce. And he came into my old job, and we became best friends. And he's a great guy. And he's one of my favorites. Mind you, I have a lot of favorite regulars, but he's hands down over the last 10 years been the most consistent.
Hell yeah. Well, Keith, thank you for being there for Chelly. You're awesome. Cheers to you, my friend. And Chelly, today we are at Rec 225. This is your place of work. This is where you
sometimes show
at the
up.
bar, show up here, you like hold the fort down for everybody. But if anybody is ever in the Space Coast, we're here located in Cocoa Village. This place is amazing. They got a lot of board games. You guys have food as well, drinks, and you usually have like a lot of like awesome parties on the weekends. You get a good vibe.
We really do get busy on the weekends, hands down.
But if you guys want to hang out with Chelly, come here and have a Grand Marnier with her, meet, and if you have a boat and you're willing to travel the world, that's a key to her heart apparently. But come say hi to Chelly, come say hi to Jamie, come say hi to Axel and everybody on this place. This is awesome. It's actually an amazing spot. You guys been open for what, a couple of years now? 5 years now. And just come say hi. Thanks to Break 225 for letting us do this here. And Chelly, thank you so much for joining me today. This was awesome.
No, Niko, thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
All right, Chelly. I will see you soon then.
Nervous.
Oh man, I've heard that before. But whatever.
Oh my God.
You're the best.
No.